Welcome to the Contractor Success Forum. Today we have Chad Gill with us, and we are the Contractor Success Forum discussing financial strategies for running a more profitable, successful construction business. And our three long-term construction industry professionals. In one corner, we have Stephen Brown with McDaniel Whitley Bonding and Insurance Company. And in the other corner, we have Wade Carpenter with Carpenter and Company CPAs. Does that mean I'm the ref in the center, Rob Williams? Irongate Entrepreneurial Support Systems, driving profit in your businesses. And Wade, tell us who our guest is today.
Well, we're fortunate to have Chad Gill. He's the president of Concrete. He's a concrete polishing contractor in Virginia. And he's also created some software we really want to talk about that kind of goes along with some of his experiences in the construction industry. And he's actually was trained as a mechanical engineer at Virginia Military Institute. He was a robotics and tooling design engineer, and I don't even know what manipulators are, but he created manipulators for steam generators, and he got a couple of machine design patents. And so in 2002, about 20 years ago, he founded Concrete that does really pretty polished concrete stuff. And he's become the president of the Concrete Polishing Association of America. And he's also the CEO of Workforce Recon, which is part of the subject of the software we're talking about today. We recently did a show on documenting projects and some things that can go wrong with a project and how you can protect yourself. So, Chad, welcome.
Hey, thanks a lot. I love the start of the show there. It gave me a little bit of a goosebump thing. At VMI, we're all required to take boxing class. And the last time they announced two fighters and I was involved in it, that began 9 minutes of hell on earth. And in the second round, I found out my opponent was ambidextrous. So, yeah, let's hope this one goes better.
Oh, yeah. I see you went to BMI. Mike McAllowitz with our Profit First stuff was a Virginia Tech guy. So you I don't know if that means you're going to drop everything now or.
Not everybody can go to VMI. They have to let some people go to. It's part of being elite and easy to get into, I guess. VMI is anyway, So.
Yeah, but that boxing thing, I actually boxed at Golden Gloves for a while, and I worked out all summer. I hit the bags, and man, I got in the ring, and my buddy that got me down there, he got me in there, and I realized really quickly that I don't like sports where I get hit in the face. So it ruined the whole thing for me. So It turned out that guy, he actually won a gold medal in the Olympics.
That's right.
There, so
and you helped get him there, and that's
my face, my nose, my pummeled face helped him get there.
Yep. That's it.
Things you didn't know about me.
Things I try to hide about myself. Agreed. But that's what we did. We do concrete polishing. It was a natural progression from nuclear machine design and tooling to jump right into concrete polishing. I'm not even sure how that happened, but it's where I'm at. And then we started. I don't know. I guess probably 7 or 8 years ago. Started using Workforce Recon to create some sort of ability to document processes. My background is different than a lot of what the guys who I work with, contractors and stuff like that in general. Hardworking guys, great guys, really good at their trade. But, more and more we are in a litigious world where you have to document what you do. You have to be able to prove it 7 ways from Sunday. And then if you do all of that, you should be able to get 90% of your money 50% of the time. That's the nature of contracting these days, which is frustrating. And that was the genesis and the reason for building it was to protect subcontractors and also to help them coordinate and communicate with field labor. We looked around a lot. There's lots of great programs. There are programs out there that are better than mine, but they're very intricate. And so ours is tailored towards small contractors that they can't have somebody dedicated to a field trailer doing nothing but filling out or working on a computer. So it's a lot of process driven, a lot of checklist manifesto type of work. That's the idea, because our target market is a guy who English may be his second language and is not computer savvy. But if you can't use a phone these days, I don't know how you're getting around. So we can find guys with no driver's license and all kinds of stuff, but they'll know how to use Facebook and Twitter. And that's kind of the basis of the idea, the way ours operates.
I've gotten to know Chad a little bit. He became one of our accounting back office packages, 3 or 4 5 months ago. I'm not sure how long now, but I know one point he had told me a story. I know Stephen and I had talked about some of these woes that we've heard from our contractors about getting hit with back charges and litigation, that kind of stuff. But I remember you told me a story about a hotel that
Yeah,
you turned a bad situation in a win for you. Can you relate that to us a little bit?
Oh yeah, it's a classic contracting fairy tale. We do a job, we polish the concrete floor in a beachfront hotel that they were trying to open a new restaurant and stuff like that in. And we go in as flooring. We go in pretty early in the process typically. We complete our work, we document it. My guys have to take at least 6 photos a day of anything in the area. I don't even care where they take pictures of. But the idea is that just through random shots, we're going to gather a lot of data about that job site. It should be about our work. That's the goal. And they're documented, date and time stamped. It's done, government level security. It's not a time or date stamp that we can change. It pulls GPS location of where you are when you do it. So you got a lot of data in the metadata of that photo, plus any comments they put. So we leave. It's maybe 2 or 3 months later, and we're getting close to the beginning of the season for beach goers. And we get a call from a superintendent. He calls and says, "Hey, Chad, I need to go ahead and schedule guys to come back, fix that place in the floor." I'm like, what are you talking about? He goes, "Yeah, I remember when I talked to your guy and he had a green shirt and he was here and I talked to him and he said, yeah, we always come back at the end and we'll fix little things like this. But there's this place." He goes, "Frankly, I can't even believe your guys left it this way, but he assured me everything was fine and that was going to be all right." He goes, "But they really need to do it, and you got to do it this weekend." And so he's calling me on a Thursday, wants us there on a Friday holiday weekend, go through the night. This is going to be about 3 days worth of work. And I said, "I'll tell you what, can you send me a picture of this floor area that you're talking about?" He goes, "Yeah, I'll send you a picture. You're going to be surprised your people even did this." So he sends me a picture. The floor is in front of a brick wall, and the floor, we do polished concrete, so it's supposed to be smooth, shiny, beautiful. And so he sends me a picture, and this floor looks like it's just been destroyed. It's been just beat, it's pitted, it's hammered, the color's gone. I'm like, there's no way my guys would do that. So I go back through our feed, and every job has a photo feed, what we call chatter in it. And in there, I scroll through and back far enough, and damn if I don't have a photo that is almost the same position that the guy was standing in when he took his photo. In front of those brick walls, a perfectly smooth, perfectly polished, I'm not going to say perfectly polished, well polished concrete floor in front of this brick wall. And in the comments of it, my guy typed in, "Superintendent says guys coming to clean brick next week." I reminded him that acid will damage the floor. He said, quote unquote, "I got this." So I screenshot that conversation, that photo, the date and timestamp, shoot it back to him, and what was going to be me running guys 24 hours for 3 days or whatever it was going to take, because the job site was a good ways from us, through the weekend at my cost, turned into about a $15,000 change order. Some of that was because I was angry. Some of it was because it was going to be the true cost of the thing. And so I sent the photo and the change order along with it and said, "I think this is what you're talking about." And so his response was, "It must have been the plumber I was talking to. I don't know how he explains anything, but I will tell you that in contracting, our go-to is the plumber. I would hate to be a plumber. If you have a plumber listening to this, don't call me. I didn't start this, but I am definitely adding to it." But yeah, so that turned into a thing of, now we go, we fix it, we get paid. And that is huge. And this happens time and time again, whether we get somewhere and they're like, "Hey, your guys cracked the driveway, your guys broke a door, broke a window." One of my favorites was a superintendent said, "I've been here all day. I'm here. I get here at 6 in the morning. I don't leave until 8 o'clock at night. I don't even go to the bathroom. I just absorb it." He's like, "I don't eat. I don't sleep. Don't." He goes, "And I haven't seen your guys clean this floor not one time." And I said, "Well, that's funny." I scroll through the thing and I sent him 3 pictures of my guys on 3 different days running an auto scrubber around on the floor. And damn if he isn't in the background on one of the photos. Now you missed it. Maybe you haven't seen one of my guys, but you've definitely seen a guy on an auto scrubber, and he does work for me. So these things make those conversations. It's hard to argue with a photo, and it's hard to argue when you have that kind of backup. And what I found is, if you have that degree of it, it's kind of like being tall and fit and athletic. You don't want to fight that guy, not because he's good at fighting, but because he's tall and fit and athletic, so you infer he is. So if you show up with good photos, good data, good documentation, they're going to find somebody else to take advantage of. And so you just prove yourself as a harder target. And that is a lot of deterrence for general contractors or just guys who are just looking to find an extra way to do it. And not everybody's nefarious. I don't mean it that way, but it is something that you have to protect yourself against in contracting if you want to be, profitable or even survive.
Stephen, have you seen? I know you've seen several stories like that where contractors are caught with their pants down, don't have any documentation.
Sure, it happens all the time, and I see it every day too. And this kind of stories are great. They have a happy ending, Chad. You had the cameras on site. So much of what we end up doing, especially on the bonding side with payment bond claims, is just trying to recreate who did what, when, where, and why. It's just a waste of time, it's a waste of money. And you've got lawyers and you've got lost productivity. You just can't work without the right documentation. We talk about it all the time. And, on top of that, you've got your workers you have to manage and keep an eye on. Yesterday, Chad, one of our concrete contractor buddies was telling us that a guy came in to apply for a job, showed him his social security card, and the number was 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8.
I met that guy. I know that guy.
Yeah, true story. So, it's always something. It's always something in the construction business, and anything you can do to manage it a little bit better. I thought your analogy about deciding what fights you want to have. I call it, what ditch do you want to die in? That's the same kind of analogy. Would you tell us a little bit more about how you set up a job to document this stuff, and again what your software can do to help?
Yeah, it's funny. We started out with the effort of I wanted my guys to arrive on a job and know what they were there to do. So we create locations on our project. So when we build out a job, where our PM builds a job, and let's say we're going to do like a restaurant. And so in the main flooring area, we're going to do a 5-step polishing process. And then in the men's and women's bathrooms, we're going to do an epoxy floor. So when you do an epoxy floor, we're going to prep it. We got processes that we do. So we're going to prep it, we're going to prime it, we're going to put the body coat and the top coat. So 4 steps. So we would add those processes to that location. And then in the field, our guys, if they go, they pull up the job, and on the job it says locations. They tap the location. You can see the bathroom, you tap bathroom, and it shows the 4 steps you need to do. And then as they complete those steps, they mark them off as having been complete. Now, our software back in the office, it knows how much, like let's say we're charging $6 a square foot for that bathroom floor. It knows that the prep is worth $1.50. The prime is worth $1.50. The body coat is worth, let's just say they're all $1.50 because we're going to need this to add up. That's that engineering degree kicking in there. So let's say each one's worth $1.50. So every time they complete a step, I know $1.50 times the size of the room. I know that we've done that much billable work that day. And they know what they're supposed to be doing, and I know where I am on the job. Then they're taking pictures. They're showing me the primer. And what's cool is when they take a photo and they put it in our little chatter feed, it's not just the photo. They can comment on the photo, and then I can comment back on that photo. It's like, hey, here's the floor drain. The wax ring is still here. I took it up, or those kinds of things. So you know exactly what happened if there's any questions. What's also nice about that is we have to do a lot of AI billing. And so we ran into a scenario where a guy stopped a job and he said, your schedule of values is polished concrete. And so we did 50,000 square feet of polished concrete. Well, we had like the last 2 steps to do on 50,000 square feet. But the schedule of values in his mind was polished concrete. So let's say the building burned down or whatever happened, and we wanted to get paid for the work that we had done. You would only get paid by contract on completed items in your schedule of values. So I could go back and then prove we've done 5 out of 7 steps, and each step is worth this amount of money based on our quote and our schedule of values. So I can tell you how much money I've actually put in or in deserving on this job. And it's little things like that. You're justifying your just even not in a tragedy, but in a regular, AI billing situation where like, I'm 37% complete. Well, I feel like you're only 25% complete. That's great. I know you're operating on a feeling. Me, I've got this documentation that tells you exactly where I'm at. And then we end up selling probably somewhere around 26%. You still don't win all the fights, but you do build that situation where you're in a better position to say, I really do know where I am. I know what I'm doing. And my guys know what they're supposed to do. So every location you're supposed to do is in the software. Every step you're supposed to do is in the software. So and it's just sitting on a phone. It looks like they're on Facebook. Sometimes they may be on Facebook, but most we hope they're on our system.
And you're building up credibility with the owner and their reps. One thing that we talked about in one of our podcasts was the fact that you got to communicate to the owner that you just want to build and you expect to be paid for the work that you do. If you want the job done fast and you want it done right, just let us build. But you got to pay us in order to make things go smoothly, and that's your job.
We've had situations even where the general contractor will come to us and say, "Hey, I know you guys document a lot. Do you happen to have photos of this?" And we'll go back and look and find, and it's something about the masonry guy or the sheetrock guy, somebody who was around us, and they're trying to get a timeline of what happened, and they know that we have dated stuff. And it also is reassurance to an owner who's the superintendent may have missed something that you did. And he's like, "Hey, man, you guys, I don't think they ever primed it, but our body coat down and all that kind of stuff." And he's like, "I don't think it did it. You're going to have to prove it," and all that kind of stuff. Like, well, hang on. Here's some photographs. We definitely did it. We can't fake this. And actually, this is your footprint where you walked in it. I think you may recall that. But it's things like that. It's a lot of intangibles, but like you said, they go towards building that goodwill and a little bit of an aura of, hey, this is. He's not going to say it because he can back it up. So if he says it, they're going to support it and those kind of things. It's great. I couldn't run the company without it.
So how did you get involved getting this software going for your own business first, and then you wanted to share it with others? Or?
Yeah, it was the classic, what is it? The desperation is the mother of all invention. You're running a company and you're hiring people and they're in the field and you're like, man, how in the world am I figure out what I'm doing? And a ton of mistakes. Like I related to the guys I'm talking to. I was like, look, man, I'm just a few years further down the road, and I'm getting old enough now where that distance is getting pretty far. And I'm like, look, if I can lean back and say, hey, don't step in that pothole because, I've been there. You go find new potholes. There's no reason to step. But if you do step in that one, grab my shoe. It's still in there. But, it's being able to lean back and say that. And then so for me, it was a matter of, okay, well, I like software. I understand it. I did some coding when I was in college, which was so long ago that it's not even coding now. I don't even think it matters. But and then I did everything wrong. Like if you've ever read the book Lean Startup, yeah. I am the case of how not to do it. Like I did like super fat slow down. I didn't do lean startup. I wish I had. And so it took me about 7 years. We built it on one platform. And then a friend of mine, another trade contractor, he saw it. He's like, man, what are you doing? I showed him. He's like, that's great. I want to use that. And so we did that. And then about 3 of us were on the system and it overloaded that platform. And so I was like, okay, well, I started on this super cheap, inexpensive startup platform. And I was like, well, I don't want to make that mistake again. So I moved over to the Salesforce.com or what they call Force.com platform. So you went from nobody to the 800-pound gorilla. But that's great because it gives us, one, we integrate with everything that's on the Salesforce platform. You don't have to have Salesforce to run it. But we have Salesforce's background, their security, there's a lot of development we don't have to do. I mean, I'm not even that really good at software, but it is the idea that we kind of take advantage and stand on their shoulders with their support and their system. And then we are really just about the UI, the user interface, how we can talk to the guys. And that's always kind of been my niche is I'm pretty good technical. I'm pretty good socially. I'm not your normal engineer, I guess. And so for me, I can go and talk to my field guys, get some feedback, and then convey that to developers. And then we build a product that works for us. But yeah, the short answer is I did not do it the smart, correct, or profitable way. This is about profitable contractor. Sometimes I'm a profitable contractor. Profitable software developer. I did not get called for that podcast.
Yeah,
I know when you first talked to me about this, I've got several of clients that have asked for something to that effect. And I know we recently had Morel McCrary on our podcast, the IT guy, and we've got a couple of mutual clients in the construction industry, and they were asking for this very thing. They were trying to develop something with like uploading stuff to Dropbox on steroids and stuff like that, and it's never really worked. So
we did learn. We tried rolling this out several times to friends and stuff like that. And I always use my dad as my target market customer. My dad is a great guy. He's fantastic, but he's actually staying with us right now while he's recovering from an injury. But I gave him my iPad and introduced him to Ted Lasso, and he's like, "Well, this is the best movie ever." And I'm like, Okay, you're not super tech savvy, Dad, and this is not a movie. But he is like, he's reliving his teenage years. Like, he comes in my house, he picks up my iPad, he eats our food, and then goes and takes a nap. I'm like, what? That's what I'm gonna do to my kids, but I don't appreciate it being done to me. But like what you're saying, Wade, is we have to really calm contractors down, because when they do connect with us, typically they're like, I want to fix all these problems. I want to have everything that you've got running. I want the full kit and caboodle. And that's not a good way to start. What we tell them is, let's pick your biggest pain point. Is it clocking in, people? We do GPS verified clocking in and clocking out. You can save tons of money, because when you got a crew of 6 and there you got 5 crews and they all clock in at 7 o'clock and they really weren't there until 7:13, that's a lot of money. That'll pay for the software in a heartbeat. But then you're like, okay, what's your biggest pain point? Okay, well, I want to document with photos and I want to have job details. I want to have a map. Okay, let's take the top 3. Let's get those really nailed down. And then let's move to the next thing that you want and the next thing you want. And we're contractors. We're impatient. We're always late. Our 5 minutes could be 5 days. It's tough to tell them, hey, man, we can fix a lot of problems, but let's do them one at a time. And that's been what we found has made the most successful rollout to people. And it decreases the frustration over the long run. But a lot of guys are like, look, if I'm paying this much per month, I want every feature available. And like, yeah, that's great, but that's not going to do anything for you. You're just going to be angry. A month from now, you're going to quit. What we're going to do is get you on, just fix the simple problems first, the low-hanging fruit, and then go forward.
That's one thing that I see contractors getting excited about, a everything software platform, and they invest a ton of money in it. And then the support and getting their team on board for implementing it is an absolute nightmare.
Yeah, if women shop for husbands the way contractors shop for software, nobody would get married, man. Because you gotta pick something that has problems you can deal with, like my wife did, and then train us out of it. But yeah, the software, you got to say, what is my biggest pain point? What's my quickest return on investment? And return on investment doesn't have to be money. For me, our crew was super frustrated because they're trying to find the job site and there's no photo of what the building looks like. Well, hell, my salesman was there. We got a GPS map of where it gets to now. Here's the picture of the loading dock. You're just taking that frustration out, and you don't have your guy riding around in your box truck for 40 minutes trying to find the entrance to the gate. That sets your job up better on your first day. When your guys get there, our software won't make you on time, but it at least removes some of the reasons you didn't. It won't keep your guys from clocking in at Wawa, but at least you'll know they did. And it's not a big brother thing. I try to explain to my guys, like, the pictures are not here to catch you. They're here to protect you. This shows that door was already broken when you got there. This shows that the concrete was damaged. This shows that the guys are in your way. Because when I call a guy, a superintendent, I've called one and said, hey, my guys are standing there to do the work, and you said I was going to be the only one working on the floor, and you got guys everywhere. He goes, no, those guys are working in the ceiling. I'm like, can they hover? Because we need the floor, man. And when I get a photo that shows that, and I can document, and again, could we charge a delay charge on that? Absolutely. Would it be well within our rights as a contractor? Absolutely. But what that photo does is it provides that kind of backup of, hey, I'm doing you a solid, so make sure you remember this because I have documented it. Almost like no charge change orders. You're just like, look, I just want to document that I'm letting this go, but at some point I'm going to not. And I'm just going to say, look, we did it 4 times. Now I'm going to charge you.
Right. And Chad, not just making sure that the job's done right, but I'm an insurance agent too, so it kind of goes without saying, but contractors need to know this. If you're documenting your work with a camera, that's exactly what your insurance underwriters want you to be doing. They want to have proof. I can't tell you how many times a photograph has, just like you said, saved a nasty situation. And you just have to tell your agent, hey, I've got this software and this is what it does, and I want you to make sure our underwriter knows about it.
Yeah, it is surprising me because some of our biggest advocates for this are construction attorneys. I was in a lawsuit, and the guy came back and he's like, hey, do you have any pictures of what you were doing? I was like, well, I have 690. And he said, seriously? I was like, oh, yeah, for sure. That changes your whole settlement negotiation and stuff like that. When you can just say, yeah, we have lots and lots of photos. And that's the same one where they were looking for a safety issue on another contractor, and they were going through our photos. They're the guys who are like, hey, man, this is great. This will protect you, and it makes it easier. you still have to fill out that paper. You have to meet all your notification timelines. If we get a 200-page contract for redoing a front porch, you have to make sure that you follow the rules. This doesn't solve all of those issues, but it should help you at least build that conversation. GCs don't want to go to court either. Nobody wants to go to court. But if you can show, and most are reasonable when you say, hey, look, let's take a look at what I was dealing with. And you tell me, did I do something wrong or not? And I found that really frames the conversation in a way. And photos are objective. There's no sarcasm with them. There's nothing like that. It's there's a photo. Here's a date and timestamp. What do you want to do with this? And that's just one aspect. And honestly, it's not even what we built the software for. It wasn't until we started using it we realized how powerful that was. So it's clocking in and out and photo documentation has been the two main things that people buy our software for, neither of which was our real reason for building it. We built it to create process checklists in the field for our guys. But now you're probably a 3-month long customer before we even implement that into your program.
Well, this has been great. I think we're probably running out of time here pretty quick, and we can put your information in the show notes where people can contact you. But Chad, you got any parting thoughts? And
Oh man, there's many things I have thoughts on, but probably some appropriate and some not. No, I mean, thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it. I can tell you that we are trying to get out there and let people know that this stuff is out there. Where, this is not our main business. It is one of those times where we created something that we built for ourselves. It was selfish. We needed it. We built it, and then now it's one of those things where you feel like, hey, yeah, I can help people and have a business at the same time. That's a good intersection of two things I like to do. So no, that's fantastic. I appreciate you guys, listening to your podcast. I get suckered into things. I'm like, God, now I got to go get that, and I got to go get this because everybody's trying to solve that next headache. And we're not, like I said, we're not a silver bullet. We're just one more in the chamber, I guess.
yeah.
All right. Well, thanks, Chad, and
thanks,
Wade,
Chad.
for bringing him on. And we are the Contractor Success Forum with Stephen Brown, McDaniel Whitley Bonding and Insurance Company, Wade Carpenter with Carpenter and Company CPAs, and Rob Williams, Iron Gate Entrepreneurial Support Systems. Go check out Chad Gill in the show notes, like Wade said, and he'll help you. He'll help you guys identify with so many of those stories. So we could have gone on forever on this. So thanks for coming, and come to our next show. Thanks.